At first it seemed impossible. Foolish. A dream no one would take seriously. Especially her. But sometimes, the smallest spark can ignite a fire that changes everything. Meet Clara Harper. 28, living in a small apartment in the city, working as a graphic designer for a mid-sized tech firm. Her life was predictable. She woke up, went to work, came home, and repeated the cycle. Clara was talented, focused, but cautious, sometimes too cautious. She didn't take risks. She preferred safe, steady, reliable outcomes. And she liked to believe that stability was success. One rainy Tuesday morning, her phone buzzed. A message from her friend, Ava, a tech entrepreneur with a spark in her eyes and energy to burn. The message read, "Clara, you have to see this idea. It's going to change everything." Clara raised an eyebrow. She had heard Ava talk about groundbreaking ideas before, most of which never went anywhere. Still, curiosity tugged at her. With a reluctant sigh, she opened the attachment. The idea was simple, an app to help people manage personal finances automatically. Track spending, suggest savings, offer investment tips, all in one place. Simple, elegant, potentially powerful. But Clara didn't see the potential. She scrolled through it, shook her head and muttered, "Who would ever use this?" Clara's friends were excited, buzzing with energy. Ava called her multiple times, urging her to consider joining. But Clara dismissed it repeatedly. "I'm too busy," she said. "It's not for me," she told herself. But deep down, a small voice nagged. What if she was wrong? Still, she went back to her routine. Work, commute, sleep. The world moved on. But opportunities don't wait. A week later, Clara walked past a cafe and noticed a poster on the window, "Local Startup Trends to Watch." Her heart skipped. There it was, an article featuring Ava's new app. Downloads were climbing. Investors were interested. People were talking. Clara froze. Could it be true? Could the app, the one she laughed at, actually work? She tried to shake it off. "It's just luck," she told herself. But the thought lingered. And that little spark of doubt would grow into something impossible to ignore. Clara couldn't focus at work. Every spreadsheet, every email, felt dull compared to the thought of what she had ignored. The idea haunted her. At night, she stared at the ceiling, replaying the messages, the article, the app, and wondered, what if she had acted? What if she had believed in herself? She tossed and turned, torn between pride and regret. Pride that she had stayed safe, and regret that she might have missed a life-changing opportunity. Her friends didn't know the storm inside her. They celebrated victories without her, unaware that Clara was wrestling with something far bigger than a simple app, her own fear of taking risks. And that's where Act 1 ends, not with triumph, but with a question. Will Clara step forward, or remain on the sidelines? The opportunity was there, glowing, waiting, but the clock was ticking. Some chances only appear once. Some doors close before you even knock. And Clara? She was about to find out what happens when you dismiss an idea too soon. Clara tried to bury the thought of the app. She told herself it wasn't her business, it wasn't her fight. But every time she checked her phone, she saw the headlines. New app takes the city by storm, millions download the revolutionary finance app. Startup hits record valuation. Her friends, those she had laughed off, were now the stars of the story. They were featured in interviews, praised for their creativity, and celebrated for taking risks she had avoided. Clara felt a tight knot in her chest. Pride and jealousy clashed, creating a storm she couldn't escape. She had dismissed the idea. And now, watching others succeed, she wondered, had she made the biggest mistake of her life? One evening, alone in her apartment, Clara sat at her desk staring at the crumpled app notes she had tossed months ago. She picked them up, smoothing the paper carefully. The small voice of curiosity returned. "What if I could still do something?" she whispered. But she knew it wouldn't be easy. By now, the team was established, the app was functional, and she was late to the game. Still, Clara couldn't ignore the nagging thought that maybe, just maybe, she could find a way in. She opened her laptop and began researching every detail. User reviews, app statistics, design flaws, competitor comparisons. Hours turned into nights, nights into early mornings. Clara realized something crucial. The app had one flaw, small but significant. It could be improved in a way no one had thought of. And that flaw was her opportunity. The next day, Clara reached out to Ava. "I think I can help. I have an idea to improve the app," she said. Ava hesitated. "Clara, it's great that you're interested, but the team is already set." We're moving fast, and honestly, we didn't think you'd want in. Clara felt the sting of rejection. But she didn't give up. She scheduled a meeting with the team, presenting herself professionally, confidently, but inside, her heart raced. At the meeting, the room was cold. Skepticism filled the air. "You're late," one developer said. "We've been working on this for months. Why should we listen to you?" Clara swallowed hard. "Because I've studied everything. I've found a way to make the app 10 times more valuable. Please just hear me out." There was silence. Tension hung like a storm cloud. Every second felt like an eternity. The team reluctantly agreed to test Clara's idea. Initial trials were tense. Errors appeared, bugs threatened to crash the app. Clara felt the familiar sting of doubt. Maybe she really was too late. But slowly her modifications worked. Data improved. User engagement rose. Metrics soared. Clara's hands shook as she watched the numbers climb. The tension wasn't gone, far from it. The team was still skeptical, investors were waiting, and one wrong move could ruin everything. Yet, for the first time in months, Clara felt a spark of hope. She could contribute. She could matter. She could finally step out of the sidelines and into the game. Just as things seemed to be going well, new challenges arose. A rival startup released a similar feature, threatening the app's uniqueness. Investors demanded faster results, deadlines loomed, and the pressure was immense. Clara worked late nights, troubleshooting, redesigning, recalibrating. Every small setback felt enormous. Every skeptical glance from a team member reminded her that she had been late to the game, and one mistake could cost everything. But she refused to give up. Each obstacle sharpened her focus, strengthened her resolve. Clara realized that success wasn't about luck. It was about persistence, innovation, and courage under pressure. Through the struggle, Clara learned more than technical skills. She learned patience. She learned the value of trust and collaboration. She learned that stepping into a situation she once dismissed required not just knowledge, but bravery. Each night, as she sat alone with her laptop, reviewing the day's progress, she felt the weight of her earlier dismissal lift slightly. This was her chance to prove herself, not to anyone else, but to herself. And with every small victory, Clara moved closer to the moment that would define everything, the moment where her idea would either make her rich or crush her dreams completely. The app was growing fast, too fast. With every update, every new user, new cracks began to appear. Bugs, crashes, server overloads. The team was stretched thin. Pressure mounted like thunderclouds over a summer sky. Clara sat at her desk late into the night, lines of code flickering across her tired eyes. She had been working nonstop for days, chasing solutions to problems that multiplied faster than she could fix them. But then she noticed something strange. A single data loop, tiny, almost invisible, was slowing down the system. It wasn't a bug, it was a flaw in the entire design. This could ruin everything, she whispered. Her discovery could save the company, or expose a mistake that would destroy the app's credibility. Clara rushed to the next morning's meeting. Her notes in hand, eyes wide with urgency. "If we don't fix it," Clara replied, "the entire structure could collapse under traffic. We'll lose everything." Ava sighed. "Clara, I get it, you're passionate. But maybe you're overthinking it. We've been fine so far." The rejection hit harder than expected. Clara looked around the room, faces staring, uninterested, tired. She had seen that look before. The same disbelief, the same dismissal she once gave Ava. The irony stung. Clara stayed behind after the meeting. Alone, surrounded by the hum of idle computers. The office felt cold, empty, indifferent. For the first time since joining the project, she questioned everything. Had she really changed? Or was she still the same woman who dismissed ideas out of fear? She thought about Ava, how she had once laughed at her boldness. How easily she had brushed off the idea that was now changing lives. And now, she was the one being ignored. That night, Clara went home and sat in silence. No music. No distractions. Just her thoughts. "If I walk away now," she whispered, "I'll regret it forever." At 2:43 a.m., Clara's phone buzzed. A system alert. The app's servers had crashed. Her heart pounded. She jumped up, racing to her laptop. Screens filled with error messages. The flaw she had warned them about had struck. For a moment, chaos consumed the office group chat. Developers scrambling, investors calling, users complaining. And in that storm, Clara acted. She reopened her research from weeks ago, pulled up her design modifications, and began rewriting the core code herself. Hours passed. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. The city outside slept, but Clara's world was electric. When the sun rose, the servers were stable again. She had done it alone. When Ava and the team arrived, they found the system back online. "Who fixed it?" someone asked. Clara turned, quietly. "I did." They stared in disbelief. Ava approached her slowly. "You stayed all night?" Clara nodded. "I told you it was critical." Silence filled the room. Then applause broke out, hesitant at first, then genuine. Ava smiled. "You saved us." Clara didn't smile back immediately. She just whispered, "No. We saved it. The idea you believed in. The one I almost threw away." It was a moment of poetic justice and humility. The tables had turned. In the following weeks, the app surged to new heights. Investors called back. Media buzzed. The company's valuation tripled. Ava and the team made Clara a co-director. Her contributions had saved the app's future, and their trust in each other had been rebuilt stronger than ever. When Clara walked out of that office one evening, her phone buzzed again. A new message, this time from Ava. "Clara, you were right. That fix didn't just save us. It made us richer than we imagined." Clara smiled faintly, standing under the city lights. She whispered, "I dismissed the idea once, but I'll never dismiss another again." Sometimes, the biggest opportunities don't announce themselves. They whisper. They wait for someone brave enough to listen. Clara had once ignored that whisper, and nearly missed the life waiting for her. It wasn't just about wealth. It was about courage, timing, and belief. So, if you've ever dismissed an idea, ask yourself, was it foolish? Or was it just waiting for you to believe in it? The app that once lived on a forgotten sketchpad was now a phenomenon. Within weeks, major news outlets called it the future of personal finance. Every download meant another reminder of the moment Clara almost let her chance slip away. At the annual Tech Rise conference, the hall roared with applause as Ava introduced her co-founder. The mind who rebuilt the core of our platform, Clara Harper. Clara froze for a heartbeat beneath the bright lights. She had spent her career hiding behind safe decisions. Now, cameras flashed in her face, reporters shouted her name, and she felt something new, earned pride. After the ceremony, Ava found Clara standing near the balcony, away from the noise. "You were right all along," Ava said softly. Clara smiled. "No, you were right first. I just finally learned to listen." They laughed, a quiet sound, full of relief and history. What began as disagreement had become partnership. Two sides of the same coin, one who dreamed and one who finally dared. Fame came quickly, but solitude still felt familiar. Weeks later, Clara sat alone at her kitchen table, the same spot where she once tossed the idea aside. The apartment hadn't changed much, yet everything felt different. On her desk lay a framed article, "From Doubt to $1,000,000 Vision." She traced a finger over the headline and whispered, "I almost lost this because I was afraid to believe." The weight of that truth stayed with her. Money was wonderful, success intoxicating, but what mattered most was the courage she'd gained. One afternoon, Clara visited a local university to mentor design students. A young woman approached her nervously, clutching a sketchbook. "It's just an idea," the student said, "but I don't think it would ever work." Clara smiled, recognizing the same hesitation she once carried. "Show me," she said. The student flipped open the pages, and Clara's eyes lit up. "Never say just an idea," she whispered. "That's how I almost missed mine." The student beamed, hope flickering in her eyes, and Clara felt the story come full circle. People think riches come from luck, timing, or talent. But sometimes, they come from humility, the moment you admit you were wrong and choose to try again. Clara dismissed the idea once. It almost slipped through her fingers. But the same courage she once lacked became the very thing that made her rich. So if an idea whispers to you, listen. Because the next world-changing story might be hiding in the one you're too afraid to believe in. Long after the spotlight faded, Clara still kept one thing pinned above her desk, a single sheet of paper, yellowed at the edges. It was the original sketch, the idea she once dismissed. Some nights, she'd look at it and smile, not because of the money, but because it reminded her how close she came to missing her destiny. Maybe we all have a Clara moment, that one idea we brushed aside, the chance we never took, the dream we talked ourselves out of. The truth is, not every idea will make you rich, but every idea you chase will make you grow. And sometimes, growth is the first sign of something priceless waiting on the other side of fear. So, here's my question to you. What's that one idea you've been too scared to start? Drop it in the comments, not for validation but for accountability. Because sometimes, saying it out loud is the first step to making it real. If Clara's story moved you, make sure to subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us, sometimes, the smallest idea can change everything. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs a little courage today, and join this channel where stories remind us all. Every idea deserves a chance to prove its worth.